Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karina, and I'm coming to you from the Pacific Northwest. As you can see, it's a beautiful, sunny June morning. It is June 7th, 2024, and thank you for joining me on this walk down to the barn to feed the horses. My YouTube channel is about my horsemanship journey, about my making. And when I say making, I'm talking primarily about knitting. It could also be cooking, gardening. Hope you can hear the birds. It could be making a life. So I talk about a variety of things. I started this channel primarily to share my knitting and horsemanship, and then it's kind of evolved to those other things. So I hope you enjoy the content, and again, thank you for joining me on this walk out to the barn. Like I said, I come from the Pacific Northwest. Lived here most of my life. I live here with my partner, our two kitties, and the two horses that I am going to feed. The horses are Mustangs. I adopted them from the Wild Horse Adoption Program from the Bureau of Land Management. There's a link to that in the description box. My older Mustang, Odin, he is 12. He came from the Cold Springs herd management area in Northeast Oregon, and he was gentled under saddle by the time that I got him. And Bragi is from the Warm Springs herd management area, which is Central Oregon. They're very different horses. Odin has a lot of confidence. Bragi has no confidence. I saw them. Oh, they're up in the round pen. You see them up there? Yeah, walk that way. Walk through the yard. Hi, boys. Good morning. You guys ready for breakfast? So I left some hay out for him in the round pen. Bragi's going to spend some time in the round pen today because I'm going to take Odin for a riding lesson, and hopefully I'll talk about that later after I get back. And Bragi continues his education on trailer training, so I've been working on that. Hi, cuties. Good morning. Third fence I ducked under. Well, just talk about horsekeeping. You see my manure pile that I have partially covered with black plastic to help it break down. And then there's one that's composting there. And that one, it's kind of behind the tree. It is about 3 years old, and it is growing potatoes. And the one further down the hill, which is going to be hard to see, I'll see if I can. I planted some tomatoes in there. We've had a ton of rain earlier this week, so they're probably struggling a little bit, but it's been nice the last couple days, and temperatures are supposed to get up into the 70s, so hopefully that will give them the boost they need. All right, I'm going to get feeding horses. This was a rather long introduction, and thanks for staying with me. Hi everyone, welcome to the knitting and chatting portion of my YouTube channel. I hope you have something nice to drink and a project to work on. I feel like I'm a little bit messy. I just got back from riding Odin and cleaning up and eating some lunch. So my hair is kind of in that state of not quite wet and not quite dry either. It's a gorgeous day out. It was probably around 65 degrees when I got home around noon. And it's just gonna get warmer this afternoon, and it's quite beautiful. Having a kind of a thing, I guess I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it a dispute so much, with our neighbors over the fence line. The fence line has been in place for 25 or 30 years. We've been here for 5 years, and a neighbor thinks that his property line is more on our side, and we were surprised, but we were cordial about it. This isn't a neighbor that we talk to very often and haven't had any problems. I tried leaving him a voicemail and just saying, hey, let's talk about the timing and the next steps. And he never returned my call. And I didn't see him for a couple weeks. And then I just started seeing him over the last week or so, or just the last few days, honestly. And I waved and he kind of nodded. And then this morning I saw him twice and I waved and he didn't wave back. He just kind of glared at me. So it's like, well, that's really strange. And the reason why he was out there is because he hired surveyors, and they're out there right now. So it's kind of, I don't know what I really am trying to say, except that, I don't want this to be unpleasant in any way. I mean, if he thinks that the property line is over here, he certainly needs to prove it, and he's doing that, and that's fine. I don't have any hard feelings about that. And, when we first found out about it, I told Randy, I said, we may lose this. And if that's the way it is, then that's the way it is. But I just am a little frustrated about kind of the what I perceive as a bit of a bullying attitude, which I also feel that's kind of a cowardly way to be, rather than being able to talk about things like adults and say, hey, we have our differences, but let's sort this out in the right way and get on with our lives. I mean, that seems extremely reasonable to me. But being mad about something, whether he's wrong or we're wrong, it really doesn't matter. So that's a little frustrating, but I'm not going to let it ruin my life. I mean, I guess I feel a little down about that, bummed that it seems like it has to be that way, because I certainly don't feel like it needs to be that way. So I am just going to carry on as best as I can, and if we need to make some adjustments with the fence line in the future, that's fine. The good news is that his property doesn't run the entire length of ours, so there is a neighbor to his west that is also borders our property. So we have 3 neighbors on our south fence line. Excuse me. I'm drinking some rhubarb juice. So that's kind of the first and foremost on my mind. And I guess I'm getting into life stuff from the get-go rather than talking about knitting, because that's what's been on my mind. And work has been really, really busy. So I felt like I had to drive down south on Tuesday afternoon because there was a public meeting, and it was about a little more than an hour away. And it took me a long time to get there because of traffic snarls and stuff like that. And then the meeting started at 7 and let out at 8:15. So I didn't get home till 9:15 or 9:30 or something like that. And and then of course you go to bed and you wake up and you start the whole thing again. So it felt like I worked a 36-hour day, even though that is certainly not true. So I'm glad today I have the whole day off, and I have been, for the most part, enjoying it, and it's been really sunny. We had some significant rain early in the week. I think I want to say it started Saturday, because I feel like I did not get to do much bike riding, horse riding, or anything. I think I snuck one bike ride out between raindrops and on Saturday, and then Sunday I debated going out even though it was raining. And I didn't. I knitted a lot, and I kind of got some other knitting projects together, which was fun, but honestly, I don't find it that satisfying. And I was a little bit down in the dumps by the afternoon. It's like, you know, it probably would have been better if I would have just got on my bike and gotten wet, you know, gone out for a 10-minute ride or 15-minute, whatever, 20-minute ride. That probably would have done it. I probably would have been soaking wet, but I think I would have been happier. So I know, you know, there's YouTubers out there that can spend a lot of time during their day knitting. I don't find that particularly satisfying. And if people are happy that they can do that, then that is awesome. I'm glad that they get to spend their time the way that they would choose to. But even if I wasn't working full time, that is not how I would choose to spend my entire day. So it's kind of a good note to self, you know, when I'm thinking about retiring in 3 to 5 years. And by that, I mean, I can retire in 3 years. It probably wouldn't be a good idea, but on the weeks like this, where the weeks were kind of long and exhausting, you know, it's kind of like, you know, I think I can do 3 years. So just thinking about that. Well, let's just talk about knitting, since that's why we're here. I will talk about horses and other stuff too. So I finished the K. Jones Scrappy quilt socks, and this is out of a mini bundle by Polka Dot Creek, their blanket club, and this was the April colorway. There were 9 minis, and I'm showing you this sock, and then I made the other sock in a different order, although I think I did the cuff the same, and that was just completely random. Also, the heels ended up being from the same, and that was just, I followed K. Jones color scheme for this first sock, and then the second sock I just kind of randomly grabbed, and interestingly, the cuff is the cuff and the heel ended up being the same color. So finished object. It's summer today. I have no socks on, so I'm not even wearing those. So works in progress. I've kind of abandoned my long sock project for now. I mean, for one thing, it's getting awfully warm. The other part is, it's like, I'm kind of tired of them now that I've been knitting on them. And honestly, I don't know how often or if ever I would wear over the knee socks. So that project may end up getting frogged. That's fine. I am working on, so this is a new cast on, and you know, I'm getting pretty close to being finished. So this is Hermione's Everyday Sock by Erica Lueder, I think, L-E-U-D-E-R. I'll have that in the show notes. The yarn is Legacy Fiber Arts, part of their Advent, what do they call them, mini skeins? I don't think that's what they call them. They're kind of small skeins. They're 50-gram skeins with a 20-gram mini. And this is the Penguin Parade colorway. So what I did is, the cuff is supposed to be 15 rounds. I decided to do 10 and 5, and then start the pattern. Very easy pattern to memorize, and it's fun. And then I did the heel flap in the contrast color. And did I say what the bundle was? It was Penguin Parade. And then I did the heel turn in the main color. So I'm using Chogu red lace needles, size 0. These are their bamboo ones. And I am definitely on the foot. I was going to do the K. Jones Prairie socks, but I wasn't sure if this variegated, if the pattern would show, so I just decided to do the Hermione's Everyday Socks. So here's the main skein, and here is the contrast. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the toes. I need to weigh this, so set that out so that I remember to weigh it, so I can see how much I have for doing the toes. I have run out of the Legacy Fiber Arts on when I've done heels, cuffs, and toes, before. It's not a big deal. It's just nice to know if they kind of match. The other one I've been working on is this, the Flipside tee. So I have done mine, and this is by Tanis Fiber Arts, and I am doing this in basically 3 stripes. I added a collar that is, I had some ribbing around the neckline that's just like 5 rows, and then and this is Knit Picks. It's a Knit Picks color. This is a hand-dyed yarn, and then this is an unknown skein of unknown content. I'm not sure if there's any superwash. It's probably superwash, although I don't know that there's any nylon in it. So that's what I am doing. I'm about to split for sleeves. So it's a raglan, and the raglan meets the measurement quota. So that is what is going to happen next. So this is the hand-dyed yarn, very pretty. My mom got that for me for Christmas. This is the Knit Picks. This is, I'm gonna say it's blackberry, but I think I have the tags in here. It's, it says velveteen, but I don't think that's right. It's a Knit Picks gloss. A fingering weight yarn, and here I did a little gauge swatch. I ended up using a smaller needle than what the pattern called for because the fabric was just not quite dense enough for me. So I am using Chogu red lace size, I think it's a size 4. Yes, size 4. I think it calls for a I have a 3 here, although I'm not sure why. maybe that was the ribbing. So let's see what other labels I have in here. Yes, blackberry. I was right. So it is Knit Picks blackberry. The velveteen is from something else. I think I was considering using the velveteen as part of it. It's kind of more of a lavender mauve, but it didn't quite go. And then the hand-dyed yarn is Dying to Please, and it comes from McCall, Idaho. It is merino superwash, and there's no colorway name to it. So super happy with this, and looking forward to getting to wear it perhaps. Although I find I don't really wear my knit tees very much. I tend to wear just like a regular t-shirt under something more long sleeve for the basement atmosphere, which is a little bit chilly. We have heat down there, but I tend to not turn it on very much. And then in this bag, these are all commercial bags except for this one. Randy made this one for me as a prototype to my Christmas present, which is a 4-panel bag that he stitched together on his industrial machine. Have it down there. So the next thing I'm going to cast on eventually is going to be a sweater, and it comes from this book. Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarn. It's by Stephanie Lotvin, the creator of Tellybean Knits. So the one I am thinking of doing is this color work pattern here. And I think, so these are the colors. So I'm thinking that's going to be the main color, and this will be the contrast color. So somewhat opposite color scheme of the of what's in the book. I also have this one. I think this must be a contrast for probably this one. I don't remember who the yarn I usually save the labels. I know this one is a nativity hand-dyed yarn. And he just uses numbers. So, oh, the other one looks like it's a Legacy Fiber Routes, and it's Old Cider Mill sock kit. So 463 yards per 100 gram plus a 20 gram midi. And then this one is a Fiddlebit sock yarn, so it's superwash Cordale nylon, 430 yards for 100 grams. I am curious which this one is, because I think I am not sure where that came from. So that's kind of future plans. And I've been working on the socks in the morning, and then the t-shirt at night. And that's really about all the time that I've had for knitting during the day, between work and then taking care of horses and doing horse things. So let's just talk about bicycling a little bit. If you are a returning viewer, you'll know that we have a bicycle trip planned later this month, and it's a 50 mile bike ride that we are going to do over the course of about 7 days. And we are carrying our gear. We are camping, motel camp. I think we are camping 2 nights in a row toward the end of the trip. So I've been trying to ride my bike as much as possible, and it's been a little bit challenging with a very busy work schedule and then the weather. I will have a picture at the end of this of me standing inside Bragi's stall, and it is just pouring outside. I also have a picture of one of those really super rainy days of I went downstairs to go to work, and there was a little fawn kind of right outside the glass doors downstairs. So I got a few pictures of that, and I hope you enjoy that as well. So I've been riding, my goal was to ride every single day from, I don't know, it was around the weekend of Memorial Day, so that Friday or Saturday, all the way through the end of June, which is the last part of our trip. But because of the weather and just because I was exhausted on Wednesday, I didn't get rides in those days. Other than that, I've been riding, like, I think my shortest ride has been 22 minutes, and which is about 3.5, 4 miles. And then my longest rides have been around 15, 20 miles. I haven't got too many of those in yet, so hopefully this weekend. I'm also continuing to work with Bragi on the trailer training, and we're just taking our time. I just want him to be super comfortable. So one of the things that my trainer and I did last weekend is that I set up a snack bucket for him inside the trailer that has like sliced carrots and some hay and some other goodie horse cookies that he can have, that he can eat the hay and kind of get those goodies in there too. Oh, and some grain. I put some grain in there too, so that he can just come into the trailer and have a snack. And we've been practicing that. He has been really good about wanting to stay in the trailer, even when he's like, well, I'm not so sure, but he hasn't really demanded to get out. He's kind of asked to come out, to leave the trailer, and if I've asked him to come back in, he has done that, so I'm super happy about that. I haven't had much chance to ride Odin, although because I wasn't ready to do anything with Bragi with my trainer today, I hauled Odin over to my friend's house and used her arena, and Odin and I had a lesson in just kind of some basic dressage and moving his body in ways that are going to help him be more balanced and hopefully help him be stronger. So it's kind of like physical therapy or yoga for humans, if you will. It's like we do these exercises and it helps us feel stronger and more balanced. And I think overall overall good. So that's what I have been up to. I don't think there is anything else. It's supposed to be very nice over the next week or so. Probably get some gardening done and maybe transplant some tomatoes out and some other things that are ready to go out in the garden. And that is, I've been harvesting greens, still waiting for my fava beans. You know, like I said, usually those are kind of a February crop, but that you hopefully start harvesting in March, but mine didn't even really come up until April. So, and so here we are. It's been a rather cold spring, except for like one super nice weekend. So the garden might be a little confused, but I've been eating a lot of kale and some other very hardy greens. So that has been awesome. That's all I have for you now. So I hope you enjoy this content, and feel free to leave me any comments. And I always enjoy reading them. And have a great week, and I will see you next time.